Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Gita class. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Rughnathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रसुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So we are discussing the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the opulence of the absolute. So in this 10th chapter, this is a part of Bhakti Yoga section of Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 chapters, 1 to 6, we know they are predominantly speaking about Karma Yoga. There are other yogas as well, like Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. But predominantly, again and again, Krishna focuses on Niskama Karma, like offering the fruits of our action to Krishna, and we should not be attached to the fruits of our action. So that Niskam Karma is focused in the first 6 chapters. Then in the next 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters, 7 to 12, Bhakti Yoga is elaborately explained. Before entering this middle section, Krishna has already spoken in the last verse of the 6th chapter, Yoginam api sarvesham adgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate jomam same yukta tamomata. Among all the different yogis, Bhakti Yogi is the topmost. And now from 7th to 12th chapter, Krishna in detail explains about the intricacies of Bhakti Yoga. And within that Bhakti Yoga section, this 9th and 10th chapter, they are the most confidential knowledge. 9th chapter was most confidential knowledge, which is about pure devotional service of the Supreme Lord. And we have seen that Krishna mentioned about the pure devotees, the impersonalist, and the demigod worshippers, the Vishwarupa worshippers, different kinds of worshippers, and also how pure devotees are distinct, how they are the best. So all this explanation is done in chapter 9. Now in this chapter 10, we are learning about the opulence of the absolute, Krishna's opulences. We are learning about Krishna's different qualities. So the word Krishna means all attractive personality. So Krishna is all attractive. Krishna is having all the 6 opulences in complete. That is the definition of the Supreme Lord. Let's recap the 6 opulences of Krishna. The definition of God by Parashar Muni is given like this. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya jasasya shriyam jnana vairagyayasya sannam bhaga iti ganam. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of God, it is thus defined by Parashar Muni as one who is full in 6 opulences, who has full strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. And Krishna satisfies all of them. Therefore, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 6 opulences of Krishna. Krishna possesses complete wealth because Krishna, in the form of Narayan, is the husband of Goddess of Fortune, from whom all the opulences, all the all wealth manifested. The Goddess of Wealth is Lakshmi Devi. And then Krishna is also possessing infinite strength. And one such demonstration we see in the Govardhan Lila. Krishna is all famous. In the spiritual world, everyone knows about Krishna. But even in this material world, everyone knows about God, even the atheists. They also know about God. If they did not know about God, they would not be atheist. They know about God and they deny the existence of God. Therefore, they are atheists. So, in this material world, not everyone might know Krishna in the name Krishna, but everyone knows in some form Allah, God, Krishna, like this. So everyone in this material world and in spiritual world, Krishna is all famous. Yasha. Krishna is all beautiful. Krishna can even charm the Cupid. The Cupid can charm all of us, but Krishna can charm the Cupid. Therefore, Krishna is called Madana Mohana, one who uh, charms the Cupid. Cupid means Madana and Mohana means one who charms. Jnana, Krishna possesses all Gyan. In the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, Janmadhyasya jatanvayaditarataschaर्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरय तेजो वारिमदं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परम धीमहि. So in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that Krishna knows everything about this entire creation. Anvayat itaratascha artheshu abhigya. The word abhigya means Krishna has the knowledge of everything. And although Krishna has all these opulences in infinite degree, completeness, still Krishna is possessing infinite renunciation. Therefore, although he is the Supreme Lord, he is ready to accept the position of chariot driver of Arjuna. And during the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the warrior has to kick the chariot driver for direction change. Arjuna would kick with the right leg, then Krishna would move the chariot to the right. Arjuna would kick with the left leg, and Krishna would move the chariot to the left. So, although Krishna is full in all the opulences, Krishna is not proud, he is very humble. And Krishna possesses the opulence of Vairagya. So, this Vairagya is also one opulence. In this material world, we get attracted to all these things. Different people, they contain some fraction of these opulences and we get attracted. Okay. And Krishna possesses them in full. So that is the point of this chapter, that if we understand the opulences of Krishna, we can get more attracted towards Krishna. Our devotional service will be stronger. Our devotion towards Krishna will increase. That is the theme of this chapter. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the opulences of Krishna are described. So in the first 7 verses, we have seen Krishna gives a disclaimer before explaining the opulences, that nobody can understand my opulences completely. Even Krishna does not know his opulences completely. Just like a billionaire person does not know how much money he has, similarly, Krishna also does not know the limit of his opulences. Okay, this is infinite. Nobody can know Krishna's opulences in full. But if we follow the footsteps for our acharyas, if we try to understand by their explanation, we can understand Krishna up to some extent, and our understanding about Krishna will be correct. We cannot have complete understanding about Krishna, but we can have correct understanding about Krishna by following the acharyas. Then we discussed about Chatushloki Gita, the 4 seed verses of Gita in which the entire Bhagavad Gita is summarized. The Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Upanishads. Upanishads are the essence of the Vedas. So in that way, Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Vedas. And it is explained the essence of the Vedas are 3 primary tattvas, Sambandha, Avidya and Prayojan. And these 4 verses of Gita explain Sambandha, Avidya and Prayojan. We have already discussed that. In the verse number 8, Krishna's identity everything emanates from Krishna, and by knowing this supremacy about Krishna, the intelligent persons, they worship Krishna with feeling. So in this verse, both Sambandha Gyan and Avidya Gyan is given. The identity of Krishna, Krishna is the possessor of the entire cosmic manifestation, is the supreme proprietor, and the pure devotees, knowing this fact, engage in pure devotional service of the Supreme Lord, that is Avideya. Then in the next verse, Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kadhayantascha Mamnityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. The behavior of the devotees are explained. When two devotees meet, they discuss about Krishna. They always speak Krishna Katha. So this is again Bhakti, and that means it is Avideya Tattva. In the 10th verse, it is explained, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Pritipurvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti Tem. If someone is engaged in Krishna's devotional service 24 hours with utmost sincerity, then Krishna will provide the intelligence. Krishna is there inside our heart. So Krishna will provide us with sufficient intelligence. By using that intelligence, we can perform devotional service and we can come back to Krishna. So here, Avidya Tattva and Prayojan Tattva are described. The Avidya is doing pure devotional service sincerely 24 hours. And Prayojan is Krishna's mercy, Krishna's blessings in the form of intelligence. Then 11th verse says, Tesham evanu kampartham aham agyana jamtama nasayam yatma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvata. So this is again Krishna's mercy. Krishna destroys the darkness of our heart, and Krishna kindles the lamp of knowledge. And with that knowledge, we can perform pure devotional service of the Supreme Lord. So this is similar to Prayojan. Like after we perform devotional service, what mercy we are receiving from Krishna, that is called Prayojan. So Chatushloki Gita explains these three tattvas, Sambandha, Avidya and Prayojan, very wonderfully. And therefore, these 4 verses are called Chatushloki Gita, the essence of Gita. Now we are entering the next section of this chapter, 12 to 18. Krishna's supreme position accepted by Arjuna, an inquiry about further appearances. If you see in the Chatushloki, first verse, the 8th verse, Krishna already mentioned about his supremacy. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Aham means I, sarvasya prabhavo. I am the source of everything. Matta sarvam pravartate. The entire cosmic manifestation is like emanated from me. The entire cosmic manifestation. So Krishna is the supreme proprietor, that is already confirmed by Krishna in the 10.8, chapter 10, verse number 8. In like other places also, Krishna confirmed his supremacy. What are those places? Bhagavad Gita 7.7, chapter 7, verse number 7. Krishna says, Matta parataram nanyat. Nobody is superior to me. There is no truth superior to me. I am the supreme truth. There is another verse, 5.29. There Krishna says, Bhuktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram shuhedam sarvabhutanam gyatmamam shantimichhati. I am the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifice and austerities. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. I am the supreme proprietor of all the planetary system and the demigods. So in that way, Krishna established his supremacy in many chapters. So at least 3 references we can see. 5th chapter, 7th chapter, 10th chapter. Now, Arjuna understood that and Arjuna accepted that. Arjuna has no doubt about Krishna's supremacy. But now Arjuna is quoting that, oh yes, yes, I have also heard this from other authorities. And you have yourself confirmed, but I have heard from other authorities. So what is the point why Arjuna is like quoting other authorities? Just for convincing us. Krishna is Supreme Lord. Krishna says, I am the Supreme Lord. Arjuna has no problem in accepting that. But we may think that because Arjuna is a friend of Krishna, therefore whatever Krishna says, Arjuna is accepting. No. Here Arjuna is telling that my faith is not blind faith. I am not having blind faith on Krishna. My faith is reasonable. So when Krishna confirms his supremacy, I also have Sastric knowledge. I have also studied the scriptures. I have also heard from other self-realized souls, Munis and Rishis, and they also confirm Krishna's supremacy. So let's see from verse number 12. Arjuna says, so after hearing the Chatushloki Gita, then Arjuna shares realization. So Bhagavad Gita is not like Krishna is giving a complete lecture. No, it is kind of conversation. Arjuna is also asking questions, sharing realizations and comments in between. So Arjuna says, Arjuna Uvacham Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashwatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradastatha Ashito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. So Arjuna says, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. Param Brahma, you are the absolute truth. Paramadhama, ultimate abode. Pavitram, you are the most pure. And Paramam Bhavam, you are the absolute, supreme. Purusham Shashwatam Divyam, you are Divya Purush, transcendental. You are not coming under the three modes of material nature. This mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, they do not affect you. Therefore, you are Divya. You are transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Shashwatam, you are eternal. Krishna's body is not like ours, that after 70, 80 years, we will die, we will leave our gross body, and our soul will accept another new body. So Krishna's body is not like that. Krishna is Shashwata, eternal. Krishna's body is eternal. There is no destruction of Krishna's body. And in the pastime we see here, Krishna's disappearance, the hunter shot an arrow in Krishna's feet and Krishna left the body. So that is not, that is called a disappearance lila of the Supreme Lord. It's not that the Supreme Lord died. One example is given, just like when the sun comes out of the eastern horizon and during the afternoon, sun goes back into the western horizon. So when sun sets, it does not mean the sun is dead. And again in the next day, sun is born. So it is not birth and death of sun. We see sun for 12 hours and then sun disappears for another 12 hours. So sun is also there. During our night, we cannot see sun, but sun is still there. So similar
Oh,
theory.
now it is fit. Yeah, this is, I remember this is how I fixed it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is how we can understand how Krishna appears and disappears in this world. Okay, so Krishna appears in this world, performs pastime for a certain period of time, then Krishna disappears. And Krishna did not disappear in a dramatic way. Krishna was playing the human-like pastimes. So therefore, Krishna disappeared in a human-like way. But intelligent devotees, they study the scriptures and they could understand that this disappearance of Krishna is just like the sun. Krishna is not dead. We cannot say a dead body of Krishna. Krishna just disappeared. And just for doing Asur Mohan Lila, for putting the asuras or the demons into illusion, Krishna left a body so that people, demoniac people, they think that, oh, Krishna was also just like an ordinary people like us. So there is no Supreme Lord. So Krishna will not force you to believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You can remain as an atheist, and Krishna allows that. So therefore, to leave some logic for the atheist, Krishna leaves a body so that they are illusioned and they think that Krishna was an ordinary human being. But the devotees know the actual nature of Krishna, the actual tattva of Krishna. So Adideva Majam Vibhum, Krishna is Adidev, the original Deva from whom all the demigods generated. Like everyone is coming from Krishna. The first demigod Brahma is coming from Krishna, and from Brahma other demigods come. Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve. All the rishis are saying the same. You are the Supreme Lord. Devarshi Naradastatha. Devarshi Narad is also saying the same. Asito. Asita is one of the sages. Asita. And Devala is another sage. Vyasa means Vyasadev. Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. So Devarshi Narad, Asita, Devalo, Vyasa, they are also saying Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And Swayam Chaiva Bravishime, and you yourself confirmed that you are the Supreme Lord. And Arjuna said his realization that now I accept that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. I do not have any doubt. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Shashwatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. So here Arjuna confirmed that Arjuna accepted Krishna's supremacy, and other authorities, other sages, they are also confirming Krishna's supremacy. Next verse. Sarvametadritam manyem yanmam vadasi keshavam nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidurdeva nadanavam. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. So in the disclaimer of this chapter, Krishna spoke that nobody can understand me. Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasha. Name vidu suragana. Even the demigods, they cannot understand me. And the maharshis, the great sages, they cannot understand me. I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Therefore, I know every detail about them, but they do not know me completely. And now Arjuna is accepting that here, that now I understood that neither the demigods nor the demons, not even the sages, they cannot understand. That means nobody can understand you completely. But by following the footsteps of our acharyas, we can try to understand Krishna up to some extent. So Srila Prabhupada here says, Arjuna herein confirms that persons of faithless and demoniac nature cannot understand Krishna. That is obvious. But even persons who are having faith, the demigods, they also cannot understand Krishna completely. He is not known even by the demigods. So what to speak of the so-called scholars of this material world, of this modern world? You will see now many people, they claim that they have studied the Puranas and they give their opinions about these subject matters. So they are called modern scholars who have read the Vedas and Puranas. Just read them as a scholar. So there is a difference between being a scholar and a devotee. A devotee also studies the scriptures. A scholar is also studying the scriptures. But the scholar is studying the scriptures like they're doing research on that. But they are not following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. That's the problem. Therefore, they only get the literal meaning. They do not get the hidden meaning. The hidden meaning is only revealed by the acharyas. Okay. So the so-called scholars cannot understand Krishna. They might read all the 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, 108 Upanishads, still they will not be able to understand Krishna. By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that the supreme truth is Krishna and he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. Arjuna is a perfect student, a devotee. He is following the footsteps of previous acharyas. Therefore, Arjuna is quoting Asita Devala Vyasa. These are previous acharyas. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita as described in the 4th chapter, Parampara system or disciplic succession for understanding of Bhagavad Gita. And this disciplic succession was lost, and therefore Krishna is speaking the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita again to Arjuna to re-establish that disciplic succession. And why Krishna chose Arjuna? Because Arjuna is a very intimate friend and a great devotee of Krishna. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the Parampara system. So we should always understand Bhagavad Gita in Parampara. We cannot understand Gita just by reading or just by our scholarship. We have to follow the footsteps of previous acharyas. Therefore, as stated in our introduction, when the Parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And then we can understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we should also follow the footsteps of Arjuna. Just how Arjuna understood Gita, we should try to approach. Swayamevatmanatmanam vetta tvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. So, if someone can know completely, that is you. Okay. Except Krishna, nobody can understand Krishna completely. But we also discussed that in many places, Acharyas say that Krishna even does not know himself completely. Krishna has different energies by which Krishna gets the information about all his opulences. Just like Sambit potency is called the knowledge potency of Krishna, and this potency gives all the information to Krishna. So our Acharyas explained that when this Sambit potency is informing Krishna about his opulences, during that time Krishna's opulences grow infinitely. And again the Sambit potency goes, collects information and gives Krishna. So Krishna's opulences are not static, they're ever expanding and infinitely expanding. So therefore, it is impossible to know Krishna. But if there is some personality who can understand Krishna completely, that can be only Krishna. No human being, no demigods, no demons, no sages can understand Krishna completely. So that is the meaning of this verse. O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Yeah, there is a very important verse here. Srila Prabhupada says that the Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service. That means the devotees. Devotees, they are in connection with Krishna, so they understand Krishna up to some extent, like Arjuna and his followers. Persons of demoniac and atheistic mentality cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin. So we should not speculate about the Supreme Lord. We should just hear from the bona fide authorities. And one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. But in modern times, we see people, they are not devotee, they have not heard in proper parampara. Still, everyone is writing their commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Everyone is writing from their own perspective. Someone from the political point of view, someone from the economical point of view, someone from the point of view of global peace. Everyone is writing one commentary on Bhagavad Gita. That should not be done. That is mental speculation, and that is a kind of sin. Bhagavad Gita is the statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. So, what people are doing, people are using the fame of Bhagavad Gita, and in the garb of Bhagavad Gita, they are giving their own opinion. So, Srila Prabhupada used to say, if you want to give your own opinion, then write a book with a different name. Why to take Bhagavad Gita and in the garb of Bhagavad Gita, you are presenting your own opinion. Bhagavad Gita means opinion of Krishna. Nothing else should be presented. Therefore, when Srila Prabhupada commented on Bhagavad Gita, he named it Bhagavad Gita as it is, as Krishna mentioned. And we can also see that how this Bhagavad Gita is completely matching with other scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and all. And this is completely consistent. And this is highly potent if we understand as it is. So before Srila Prabhupada commented on Bhagavad Gita, there were many versions of Bhagavad Gita, but they did not have the revolutionary effect as Bhagavad Gita as it is. When Srila Prabhupada published this Bhagavad Gita as it is, presented the science of Krishna as it is, many people became very serious about Krishna consciousness and they became full-time devotees. But no other editions of Bhagavad Gita could do that. So this Bhagavad Gita is infused with tremendous amount of potency because this is the science of Krishna as it is, as Krishna presented. If we do not present Bhagavad Gita as it is, the parampara is immediately broken. Therefore, we should stick to what Srila Prabhupada gave us by following. And Srila Prabhupada read all the commentaries of all previous acharyas and gave us a gist of that. So we should be very carefully reading this Bhaktivedanta purports. Okay, and then Srila Prabhupada gave this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Vadanti tat tattavidas tattam yadgyanam avyam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdate. So there are three features of the Supreme Lord. We are talking about understanding Krishna. If you want to understand Krishna, we have to understand the three features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One is Brahman, the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. the bodily effulgence of Krishna. Then comes Paramatma, the localized feature, the expansion of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the heart of every living entity. The expansion of the Supreme Lord inside every atom, that is called Paramatma. And Bhagavan is the Satchidananda form of the Supreme Lord, the Satchidananda Shyam Sundar form of the Supreme Lord, as he resides in Golok Vrindavan. So these are the three features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktum arhasya sheshena divya hyatma vibhutayam yavir vibhutir lokan imam stvam vyapyatishtati. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. So now Arjuna accepted the supremacy of Krishna and he also quoted the previous authorities. Now Arjuna is inquiring to know about Krishna's opulences more. Some basic opulences Krishna has given, that I am the source of everything, all the spiritual and material universes, they come from me. Okay. And how I take care of my devotees, all those things. And even the demigods and sages, they cannot understand Krishna. So all this introduction about Krishna's opulences, Arjuna accepted, and Arjuna accepted the supreme position of Krishna. But now Arjuna wants to know about Krishna's opulences in detail. How Krishna pervades all these worlds by different opulences. Okay, so that will be explained in the next section 19 to 42, a lot of verses. Then Krishna explains his vibhutis, different vibhutis, how Krishna pervades the entire creation. In this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with the understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He already accepted Krishna as the Supreme Lord. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, knowledge, and whatever else a person may have. And through all these agencies, he has understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, till now, this is clear to Arjuna. But Arjuna wants to know in more detail. For him, there is no doubt, yet he is asking Krishna to explain his all pervading nature. So, this is for people in general, like us. People in general and the impersonalist in particular concern themselves mainly with the all pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna has fully understood that Krishna is Supreme Lord, but to convince people in general and the impersonalist who are very much concerned about the all pervading nature of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna is asking Krishna, can you explain how you are all pervading? We say the Supreme Lord is everywhere. So how can you establish that fact, Krishna? So therefore, to convince people in general, Arjuna is asking that question. Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in all pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. So this is the understanding when you refer to the previous acharyas. Here, Arjuna is not telling explicitly that, oh Krishna, I do not have any doubt, but I am asking this just to convince common people. But the hidden internal meaning is Arjuna is not having any doubt, but Arjuna is asking for us. Katham vidyamaham yogims tam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyoshi bhagavan mayam. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? If we know many forms of Krishna and many ways how Krishna pervades the entire universe, it will be very easy for us to remember Krishna. Just like in the 7th chapter also, Krishna gave a glimpse. In the 7th chapter also, Krishna explained, I am the Supreme Lord. And after that, Krishna gave a glimpse of his opulences. And those opulences will be discussed in more detail in this 10th chapter. How? In the 7th chapter, we have seen Rasoham Apsu Kwanteya Prabhasmi Shachi Sureyo Pranava Sarva Vedeshu Shabdakhe Porusham Nishu. I am the taste of water. I am the light of sun and moon. I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether, ability in man. So see, if we know that all these things are Krishna, then it is very easy for us to remember Krishna. When we are drinking water, we can remember Krishna. When we see the sun and moon, in the daytime, in the nighttime, we can remember Krishna. When we chant the Vedic verses, we can remember Krishna. When we hear any sound, we can remember Krishna. When we accomplish something, we could achieve something, we can remember this ability is coming from Krishna, like that. So the opulences, knowledge about the opulences of Krishna helps in remembering Krishna. And that is the ultimate goal of human life. In the Nectar of Instruction, verse number 8, Rupa Goswami wrote this Nectar of Instruction, and Rupa Goswami says, Tannama Rupa Charita Dishu Kirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojyam Tishtan Braje Tadanuragi Jana Nugami Kalam Naye Dakhilam Ityupadesha Sharam. So for devotees, Rupa Goswami, who is a great devotee, the direct disciple of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Rupa Goswami is giving some upadesh or instructions in this book called Nectar of Instruction. And Rupa Goswami says that the essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes. So this is the essence, that 24 hours you have to remember Krishna. 24 hours you have to be Krishna conscious. We can question, how can we be Krishna conscious during sleep? If you are perfectly Krishna conscious, you will see Krishna conscious dreams. And thus you can become Krishna conscious even during sleep. So a person who is always chanting Krishna's names, always remembering Krishna, that is the perfection of this human life. And that perfection can be attained if we know about Krishna sufficiently. If we know about the opulences of Krishna sufficiently. And that is the question Arjuna is asking. How can I constantly think of you? The answer is, if I know sufficiently about you, if I know how you pervade this entire universe, then I can constantly think of you. Whatever I will see, I will remember you. Just like Rasoham Apsu Kwanteya Prabhasmi Shashi Sureyu. So Arjuna is requesting Krishna, please explain your all pervading nature. How you are pervading this entire creation. And if I have that knowledge, I can remember you always. विस्तरेणात्मनो योगं विभूतिं च जनार्दनां भूया कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वन्तो नस्ति मे मृताम्. O Janardan, again please describe in detail. Why again? Because we already saw in the 7th chapter Krishna gave a like small overview of these opulences. So again describe them, but in detail. 19 to 42, so many verses in the 10th chapter. The mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you. This is the nature that we are progressing in Krishna consciousness. If we think that, oh, I am hearing same things about Krishna again and again, I am bored by hearing about Krishna, that means I am declining spiritually. I am not advancing. If I am advancing in spirituality, I will never be satiated in hearing about Krishna. The more we hear about Krishna, the more we want to hear about Krishna. This is the sign that we are advancing in spirituality. Srimad Bhagavatam confirms this. Dharmasvanushthita pumsha vishwakshena katha shuya nutpadayad yadiratim shramaye bahi kevalam. The ultimate test is Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. Am I developing a taste for hearing about Vasudev Krishna? If that Ruchi or that taste for hearing about Krishna is increasing in me, then I am advancing in spirituality. If my heart wants to drink more nectar of Krishna consciousness, to hear about Krishna more, to know about Krishna more, to read about Krishna more, if my thirst for reading and hearing about Krishna is increasing, that means I am advancing. And if you feel that I'm not feeling to read and hear about Krishna, so then what is the remedy? If I'm not feeling, if I'm not advancing, then what is the remedy? the remedy is also given. Therefore, you should read this book, Upadeshamrita. Rupa Goswami gives all solutions. In the previous verse, Rupa Goswami gives the medicine, the treatment. If I want to hear about Krishna more and more, I am advanced. If I do not like to hear about Krishna or read about Krishna, then I am affected. I am not advancing in spirituality. Then what to do? This is the prescription by Rupa Goswami. Shat Krishna Nama Charita Dishitapya Vidyam Pittopataptarasana Rochikanu Kintvadarādanu Dinam Khalu Shaiva Justa Sadvi Kramat Bhavati Tadgata Mula Hantrin. So here Rupa Goswami gives the prescription in terms of the holy name, but it also applies to reading and hearing. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Krishna's pastimes are like Amrita, nectar. Krishna's holy name and pastimes, everything. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, currently we are afflicted with the jaundice of avidya, ignorance. Therefore, we cannot taste this nectar. We cannot taste anything sweet about Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's name. It is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. So just like if you are having jaundice, then sweet things will appear to be tasteless. But what is the treatment? You have to drink sugarcane juice. And by drinking that, initially when you are having jaundice, that sugarcane juice will appear tasteless. But you have to keep on drinking that, although you do not like. Then one day, the sweetness will be revived. You can experience that I am feeling little sweet, this sugarcane juice. That day you understand your jaundice is recovering. You are recovering from this disease called jaundice. So similarly, if we do not have enough attachment and taste for hearing and reading about Krishna, then we have to do that forcefully. Forcefully do that regularly. Fix up some time in your schedule, and whether you like or do not like, just like medicine. You cannot say this medicine is bitter, I do not like to take it. Whether you like or do not like, you have to take the medicine. Similarly, whether we like or not, we have to fix some time as a part of our duty. Because we are human being, the most important duty in human form of life is Krishna consciousness. So we have to set aside some time. Otherwise, we are acting like animals. Whatever materialistic activities we are doing, those are useless. If we are not setting aside some time for Krishna, we are no better than animals. If we are not setting aside a time for Krishna, that means we are perfectly tricked by Maya Devi. And Maya Devi could perfectly convince us that all our material activities are important than Krishna. We are perfectly fooled by Maya Devi and we are not better than animals. So initially, we may not have taste for hearing and chanting about Krishna, but we have to do it forcefully, just as a duty. Because I'm a human being, this is my duty. Dharma is my duty. Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhi. Without dharma, without this devotional service, I am no better than an animal. So therefore, as a duty, I have to do some reading and hearing. I have to chant the holy names of Krishna. I must worship Krishna. Not a single day should pass without these activities. Otherwise, I am just wasting my human form of life and I will do material activities again and again and I will be thrown into the hellish planets. I will lose this human form of life. The Supreme Lord will see that He gave us human form of life. We did not act like human being and I will get an animal body. And again, it will take so many lifetimes to get a human body. And we will keep on suffering in this material universe. Okay. So we have to see, we have to regularly hear and chant about Krishna, and we have to measure this, that whether my taste for hearing and chanting is increasing. We have to do this introspection always. Then we know whether we are advancing or not. If we are not advancing, then we have to do more reading and hearing. The more we read and hear about Krishna, our heart will be cleansed, and then we can taste the nectar of Krishna consciousness. The more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Arjuna is a pure devotee, so obviously this will happen. But we also have to come to this stage. Otherwise, what is the point of going through the whole Bhagavad Gita? If Krishna Prem is not developed, if we have not developed taste for hearing and chanting about Krishna, then even if we complete this Gita course, it will be useless. So we have to study Gita, apply it in our life, and we have to do introspection. Then we are acting like a human being. Then we can become a sincere practitioner of Krishna consciousness, and one day we can become a pure devotee. Okay, so we completed this section, and in the next section, Krishna will elaborately explain about different opulences by which Krishna perfects the entire creation. So we will take that section in the next class. Thank you very much for patiently hearing. Is there any questions now? We can take.
Prabhu, just few minutes if you could give.
Sure, Mataji.
Yes, the every of the task, sometimes like whole day, just to remember Krishna every moment. We can also think like every of the task which is being done,
For
keeping
Krishna.
Krishna in the mind, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the other way. If we don't get more chanting rounds, if we don't, then I mean that is what me and my husband, both are implementing. But I hope the chanting rounds we
Chanting,
can do more. Yeah.
even if you are working in a Krishna conscious way, that will not substitute chanting. So you cannot say that
Okay.
I have to chant 8 rounds. So I have chanted 4 rounds, but I have remembered Krishna throughout the day. So it will not get substituted, because that is possible for the Brajavasis who are spontaneous devotees of the Supreme Lord. But in our stage, our mind is very flickering. The mind is always cheat us. So therefore, we must chant some prescribed number of rounds. Srila Prabhupada says 16. If we cannot do 16, at least 4, 8, according to our capacity and availability, we must complete those rounds. And once those rounds are done, then we can try to be Krishna conscious throughout the day. Suppose you are in workplace, you are working, you can always have the motivation in background that I am doing it for Krishna. Whatever I will earn, I will donate a significant portion for Krishna's preaching of Bhagavad Gita, book distribution, or building temples, or like in or my home deity. So this is how we can be Krishna conscious in our workplace also, if the
Hmm.
motivation is in Krishna. But that will
Yes,
never
Prabhu.
be chanting. Chanting is very, very important.
Mm-hmm. Yes, in the next class, Prabhu, if you could give this a simple, the chanting. I remember you did explain, but if we can revise, um,
Yeah.
yeah, about the chanting importance.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes, in the opulence of the absolute, 10.25, there is a verse called Jagyanam Japa Yogyasmi. Krishna says, among all the different chantings, I am the chanting of the holy name. So, in that respect, we can discuss about the importance of chanting of holy name in the next class.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay, sounds good. So, we'll continue this in the next week. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.